And I told somebody a while back, I said, I'm going to start doing some digging. All right. And the digging was, why is A'ja Wilson losing all of her teammates with the Las Vegas Aces? What's going on? Everybody leaving town.
What if I told you A'ja Wilson just blew up the Las Vegas Aces from the inside out? It all started with one wild statement after they lost to the Liberty like a spark that set off a basketball firestorm. Now you're probably wondering, what could she have possibly said to cause all this drama? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into the craziest WNBA story of the year, and trust me, it only gets wilder from here. This isn't just another post-game interview gone wrong. It's a game changer that's shaking up the entire league. Are you ready to uncover the truth?
Let's get to this. No, this is damning. It really is. I got to tell you. You see this quote. Quote, it wasn't a championship locker room. Wow. Wow. Okay.
It's absolutely wild, man. We got to rewind a bit to really get the full picture of what went down. So picture this, the Las Vegas Aces just got beaten by the New York Liberty. Right, everyone's all bummed out, tensions are high. And then a reporter drops the million-dollar question, why? You lose, what happened out there now? You might be thinking A'ja is going to give some ST standard answer about the other team playing well or needing to work on their game. But now she goes and drops this absolute bombshell. She looks the reporter dead in the eye and says it was not a championship locker room. Listen to this.
As they fell to the New York Liberty in the semifinals, in an interview with Callie Finn of the Las Vegas Review-Journal on Monday, Wilson acknowledged that her team, quote, fell short of their goal. Quote, it wasn't a championship locker room, Wilson said. I mean, out of the gate, going into training camp, I was like, we ain't got it.
A'ja doesn't stop there. She starts going off about how a winning team should look and sound. It's like she's comparing their locker room to a sinking ship with everyone scrambling instead of working together. And get this, she's quoting her college coach Dawn Staley talking all about these championship vibes or whatever.
Here, Staley taught her that a winning team should, quote, look, sound, and feel a certain way. I got to tell you, there's a lot that one could take out of that right there.
Now, put yourself in her teammates' shoes. For a second, you're sitting there probably still sweating from the game, trying to process this loss. And your star players out here basically saying you all ain't got what it takes. That's got the sting right. But here's where it gets really interesting. While A'ja is going on about championship atmospheres, you got to wonder what's really going down in that AC's locker room. Is there some kind of drama we don't know about? Is the pressure of being defending champs just too much?
Now, in case you're wondering, I mean, they've lost a bunch of players in a variety of ways. Alicia Clark, gone, out of there. Kate Martin, Tiffany Hayes, they went to the Valkyrie. Sydney Colson went to the Indiana Fever. And Kelsey Plum is gone.
You know how sometimes you say stuff in the heat of the moment that you don't really mean. Maybe that's what happened here. But man, those words are out there now. And you can't just take them back. It's like dropping a match in a room full of gasoline. You never know what's going to catch fire. And catch fire because now everyone and their mama is wondering what's really going on behind those locker room doors. And let's be real, this ain't just any player we're talking about. This is A'ja Wilson, one of the faces of the WNBA, a champion and MVP. When she speaks, people listen.
Thing was amiss right there in that locker room. And you got to wonder, whose fault is that? I mean, is it just me, or is it's supposed to look and sound and feel a certain way?
But you know what's really got people talking is how different this is from what we usually see in the WNBA. These players are usually all about supporting each other, lifting each other up. So to hear her basically say her team ain't got that championship mentality, that's a whole different ball game.
Imagine MJ saying this about the Bulls. Don't see a championship locker room? Look in the mirror. That's
one thing's for sure, this ain't the kind of thing that just blows over. It's going to be hanging over the Aces like a dark cloud for a while. And you better believe every time they step on that court, people are going to be watching extra close, trying to spot any signs of tension or drama.
But, it's the Indiana Fever locker room that's toxic. Yeah, y'all remember those narratives floating around out there? Because I do. That sounds like I knew it. I knew there was something going on in Las Vegas. that was causing a problem. I said, I can't remember who it was the other day. I don't think it was Ken's. I can't remember. But I told somebody, they mentioned all the players leaving, and I said, something is amiss. Something doesn't smell right. It's not passing the sniff.
After AA, Wilson played a role in the shocking exit of several Aces players. She's taking things to a whole new level, going completely dark on social media. Athletes are usually all over social media, but Ozza has hit the mute button right as the locker room drama reaches its peak, just as things started to explode. She made her Instagram private, almost like she's trying to disappear from the spotlight.
Up some of this right here. The A'ja Wilson Twitter account is privated, along with Enrique.
But here's where it gets really interesting. While AA is trying to lay low, the internet is doing its thing, digging up old posts. They found some tweets from 2012 that are causing a stir now. We're talking about stuff AA posted when she was just a kid, but in the world of pro sports, those old posts can come back to bite.
A'ja quickly, I'm guessing, did her tweets. I went back and looked at Enrique tweets. I believe those was deleted as well. But as you guys can see right here, man, it states A'ja Wilson profile is privated, bro. It's completely
rumor has it one of AA Wilson's old tweets contained inappropriate comments sparking controversy. Can you believe it? One of the WNBA's biggest stars is now in hot water over something she posted in middle school. The internet has gone full embarrassed AA Wilson mode. This has turned into a bigger conversation about how athletes handle social media. Players go from regular kids to superstars overnight, and suddenly every old post is under scrutiny. Now the WNBA and the Aces are scrambling to provide media training. Basically social media 101 for pro athletes. Honestly, it's overdue.
A'ja might have a PR team, bro, because they immediately wipe.
But let's be real for a second. Is it fair to judge off for something she tweeted? When she was 14, we've all said stuff we regret, right? And most of us are lucky enough not to have millions of people combing through our awkward teen years. Some fans are actually defending Wilson, saying we shouldn't be so hard on her for old posts. This whole mess is like a perfect storm of social media drama. You've got you trying to disappear old tweets coming back to haunt her fans, taking sides, and the WNBA in full on crisis mode. It's like watching a real-time lesson in how not to handle your online presence as a pro athlete.
Online. Now, we know the WNBA, man. I've been saying this. They need media training, media etiquette, PR teams, something. They need something to help navigate these women through this newfound fame, I should say, that they just found themselves into. Because you don't see things like this happen, you know, with other players on the internet. I don't know what the situation is.
But here's the thing. This isn't just about AA Wilson or the Aces. It's a wake-up call for the entire WNBA. These players are in the spotlight like never before, and they need to be ready for everything that comes with it. The league is realizing they can't just focus on what happens on the court anymore. They've got to help their players navigate this crazy world of social media and public scrutiny.
They don't seem like they're prepared for this level of attention. You know, I just got to keep it real. I mean, down to the media people. I don't even think the media people is ready for this level of attention. Like, you got media people crashing out on YouTubers for making videos. Y'all over there, we're over here. I mean, whatever the case may be, is the W as a whole, you know, we got to talk about this thing as a whole, is not prepared for this level of success.
But the story is not over yet. So AA drops this bomb about the locker room, and you're probably thinking, okay, what's the big deal? Well, let me tell you, it's like she lit a fuse that set off a chain reaction. Players started leaving the Aces faster than you could say championship team.
Entire team. Almost their entire team is gone from last year. They've lost basically everyone. If we want to look at the Vegas Aces team from last year, who's still remaining? The MVP, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray. That is it. And why are...
All started with Alyssa Clark heading to the Valkyrie. Before anyone could catch their breath, Kaya Stokes followed her out the door. Then Sydney Carlson looked around and said, you know what, I'm out too. It was like watching dominoes fall. But instead of little plastic pieces, it was star players hitting the exit.
You got to understand what players play for. Players play for two things a lot of the time. Money or rings, or a chance of winning a ring. If you are a max contract player, you are playing for money. If you are a role player, you're going to play for rings. It's as simple as that.
Now, you might be thinking, is this just a coincidence? But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just one or two players. We're talking about the Aces have lost nearly their entire roster from last season. Can you believe it? Almost the entire team gone. The only players left standing are Jackie Young and Chelsea Gray. That's it, 2 players from a championship team. And guess what? They are no longer exceptional players.
Chelsea Gray at her peak was unbelievable. I get it. But trying to argue Chelsea Gray is great in the year of 2025 is like trying to argue Chris Paul is still an all-star level point guard because his name is Chris Paul. Because some people might have called him the point guard back in the day. I don't know if anyone did. But just because people called her point guard and you can scream point guard every time she makes a pass does not mean Chelsea Gray is an all-star. Not only is Chelsea Gray not an all-star anymore, she's not a starter on a championship winning team.
But it's not just about players leaving, it's about why they're leaving. Take Tiffany Hayes, for example. She didn't just leave for a change of scenery. She left because she wanted to be the main star, the primary option on a team. And she's not the only one. This whole situation is shining a light on something bigger. It's about players looking at their careers and saying, hey, what's best for me? They're prioritizing their own opportunities over sticking with a team that's supposed to be a superstar squad.
These other players and other teams, a lot of them, have waived their Supermax rights to be able to get players in. Whereas the Aces have 2 players, are the only team in the W with 2 players on a Supermax. And then 2 others on a max. So it's really, really tough. It's going to be really tough to build anything around them.
And let's talk about the elephant in the room, money. Some of these players are following the cash. Sydney Carlson, for instance, is set to earn more with her new team. Can you blame her in a league where careers can be short? You got to make that money while you can.
Sydney Colson's going to make at least 100k and other stuff, like even which with going to Indiana, which she has lost from like the Aces based on a tourism thing. And who knows, Indiana could be paying their players more than the Aces did with their.
But it's not just about the cash. These players are looking for more playing time, more chances to shine. It's like they're saying, yeah, winning is great, but I want to be on the court making it happen.
That's why Sydney Colson and Alicia Clark left. Simply put, is they wanted to win. You might be saying, oh, like if you want to win, why would you ever leave the Aces? Because the Aces aren't that good. Simple as that. The amount of people that are saying, oh, the Aces are like this absolute super team still. Oh, they got Jewel Lloyd. Wow, they got somebody who shoots 26% from 3 and 36% from the field. And he's like not struggling on rival.
Now, let's put on our detective hats for a second. What does all this tell us about what was really going on in that Aces locker room when players are willing to leave a championship team in droves? It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Was AA's comment just the tip of the iceberg? Was there more drama brewing beneath the surface that we didn't see? It's like we're watching a house of cards tumble down in slow motion. This team that was supposed to be the cream of the crop, the team to beat is now scrambling to even field a full roster. And every time another player walks out that door, it's another blow to the Aces' reputation. You got to wonder what's going through A's mind right now. Is she regretting those words? Or does she stand by what she said even as she watches her teammates pack their bags one by one?
We got to talk about the Aces, who are left with a shell of a roster right now. They have to fill out every other spot. They have a not top 5 roster in the W, and they have to fill out every other spot with minimum contracts. That's as simple as that. They fill out every other spot with minimum contracts.
Yo, can you believe the drama with A.L. Wilson and the Aces? It's tearing apart a championship team and exposing serious issues in the WNBA. These players need help handling their newfound fame. What's next for the Aces? Can trust ever be rebuilt on a shattered foundation? The whole league needs to step up and support these athletes, teaching them to handle the pressure and media attention. Can AA rebuild her team's trust? It's going to be tough. We've seen this before in women's sports, and it can mess up a team for years. The Aces are in for a rough ride, walking through the ruins of their championship fortress. Everyone's wondering what's really going on behind those locker room doors and what it means for the team's future.